you know, for instance, on Elvis, I underestimated the scale of the project. So I had some really challenging moments. Not where I was sort of doomed to fail, but just that feeling of, oh my God, it was like being in Indiana Jones and there was that ball coming towards you and I was just like running, just going, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, oh my God, because it was a sheer volume. Like there were over 9,000 complete background costumes. I'm talking shoes, undies, tops, whatever. And sometimes you just thought, the sheer volume, I'm never going to make it. You know, I'm not going to be able to meet that deadline. I'm not going to be able to do that. And, you know, I'm a good planner and I have great people around me. I don't do it by myself, and I have a great supervising art director, Ian Gracie, and, you know, great people in wardrobe. But often I'm trying to, in the early part of the process where we have our preparation, I'm always trying to resource other people to make sure they can do their job. And now, as I get older, I have to remind myself that I have to resource myself to be able to do the job. So, yeah, and look, there are tense moments, and then there are really happy moments and moments of serendipity when you just go, how did that actually all come together? You're not quite sure. And I think you also, one of the great things about working with Baz is he takes his work very seriously, but he doesn't take himself seriously. So there is a sense of humour about the fact we are not saving the world. You know, we're not curing cancer, we're saving the world one sequin at a time. You know, so that you have to always be, I'm super serious about what I do, but I also have to, remember that if someone's socks are slightly the wrong colour, the world isn't going to end. Look, I think it is staying in the game and just having the ability to sustain constant criticism and kind of being a little bit in trouble all the time. That, I think, is a very important part of being able to, because you're never going to please everyone all the time. There are always going to be problems and obstacles you have to overcome. And it's being able to sit in the discomfort of not being top of your class all the time. You know, you're always going to be some moments, and it's always when you think you're lying in bed thinking, oh, I've just had the most brilliant idea. I'm obviously completely a genius. And then you arrive at work the next morning, it's a complete disaster, and you say to yourself, how could I ever have had that thought in my mind that somehow this was going to be successful? So I think I totally agree with you. It's about staying in the game, in the discomfort of the feeling of kind of that there is a process to get to success. It doesn't just happen. You know, we're very lucky. Well, I was very lucky because in Australia at the time when I was going into university, we had free university. And we had a lot of money channelled into the arts. And so Baz and I are the recipients of a fantastic arts education that was paid for by the government. And so the ability to actually know about this institution and know that people like Mel Gibson went there and Judy Davis, I mean, I think that's what's so important about things like film festivals and seeing young people making movies and their movies being screened, is that other people can then model themselves on those people. And that was what was wonderful about that particular university, that there were people that were successful in this on this international stage. So you started to be able to see that that was a possibility for you. So I think it's when I got into the school and I started learning and working and doing relatively well in all the subjects, and I kind of knew, oh, I found my vocation, you know. This isn't just a job, this is what I really want to do with my life. Well, Baz's imagination is boundless, whether he has $50 or $50 million. So the need for things to be right or serve the story never changes. And so I think, you know, it was meeting the challenge of finding ways of translating big ideas in a way that fit the confines of your situation, be that budget or time, and that has never changed. And there's always moments where there is a sharp intake of breath where I just go, how are we going to do that? And you just feel your chest tightening and you just think, I'm not going to be able to, I just don't know how to do that. And the challenge is just to go, hang on, take a breath. Maybe we don't have to do it exactly how he's describing. What does he really want? Let's get to exactly what he really wants. And then if you can find the nugget of what someone really wants, then you can find a way of translating it so they get what they want, but it kind of fits into the box that you've been handed. So I would say it is meeting the challenges of the bigness of the ideas is always the hardest part. So I think that there was an interesting discovery made working with Baz and with Austen early on, that when you just slavishly reproduced Elvis, it sort of got to be this macabre Halloween costume, and you needed to find a way in which Austen's interpretation of the character and the humanity of Elvis, like revealing Elvis's humanity, found a sort of a comfortable resting place. That's not to say that we didn't absolutely historically study every detail of Elvis's wardrobe, and in some instances really lean into historical recreation, like the leather suit, for instance. But we took the approach that Elvis is Austen, and that leather suit is being made for our Austen Elvis. So small details that don't seem that important, but they change the way that the suit looks on him. If you copy all the exact proportions of the collar and the pocket placement and everything that Elvis had, well, Austen's not Elvis, so their neck height is different. And so what you're trying to do is get the spirit of that person and make the suit fit the Austen Elvis. And it was difficult because you wanted to meet the demands of the fans and the historical accuracy, but at the same time, you didn't want to sacrifice historical veracity for humanity.